Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
Thank you for joining us. This week's episode is brought to you by Marva's Makeovers. Have you ever lost your ID, credit card, or passport and didn't want to deal with the hassle of starting over? Just call Marva's Makeovers and they can help replace your lost stuff with brand new ones. Get a fresh start with Marva's Makeovers. They help you start all over with a brand new identity. Wow.
So you got caught by the IRS?
I don't know. That sounds a little bit more than just a passport makeover, but not asking questions as long as that check clears. The government ain't tried to shut us down yet, so it's all good.
We good.
Marvel's Makeover's gonna have to keep that in mind. This episode of the Popcorn Wind Down, I'm really, really excited. I've been waiting to do this one. It's all about my name, where a young woman, Yoon Ji-woo, teams up with her father's best friend and a notorious crime boss, Che Moo-jin, who takes her under his wing and grooms her to become a police officer to exact revenge against those responsible for her father's death. As she becomes a rising star in the police department and begins a more in-depth look into her father's death, she finds out that the truth is rarely as simple as it seems. So Tammy, what did you think? Does Say My Name deserve to be shouted from the rooftops or whispered never to be heard again?
That was very creative.
Oh, thank you.
It was. I like that segue. No, I really, really enjoyed this. Like, I remember when I watched it, I binge watched it. It's only 8 episodes to this show. It's on Netflix, streaming now. And I watched it, and then I automatically was like, yo, Eddie, did you watch My Name yet? I was just like, you gotta watch it. Like, it's so good. Like, so good. So I was already, like, throwing it out there just on how good it was. So, yeah. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, I binge watched it in one day. So, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, shouting it from the rooftops, definitely. Say my name, say my name. Never. You knew it was coming. You knew. Stop rolling your eyes at me like that. Just, you knew it was coming.
I'm gonna let you be great.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes you make me feel so special. I loved it too, and it kept coming up in my queue on Netflix to watch, and I'm like, okay. And so I added it to my list, and then you had said watch it, and I was like, okay. And you pretty much know by now not to tell me to watch one of your historical dramas or something that I'm going to tell you was just a freaking Lifetime movie, a Korean Lifetime movie. Like, I'm not into the romance stuff. So when you said, I'm like, okay, she knows it's probably something I would like. And so I watched it, and I'm like you, I binged it in one day, and I was just like, and it was one of those ones where I was like, only 8 episodes, where are the other 14? Because, most of them are usually like 20 episodes or whatever, between 16 and 20. I'm like, no. But it was so, so good. But those 8 episodes, they were packed. Like, they got a lot done in those 8 episodes. From beginning to end, I loved it. It was really, really good. And I love that it kept me guessing. What about you? Like, I love the suspense of it all. And yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know what was coming. You didn't know what some decisions that she was going to actually make. You sometimes didn't understand exactly why she was making those decisions. It wasn't like, because the one thing I loved about this character was that she didn't talk out her feelings. She was all about action, right? So you had to wait to see what her next step was in order to figure out why she made the previous step. And I really, really like that. That's the reason why I felt like it did keep me guessing. I will agree with you on that, because you never knew, because she didn't talk out her steps. She didn't talk out her feelings. Like, there wasn't like a confidant that she really had throughout it. But she was still kick ass. Like, ooh, she was taking names, y'all. But I just love the fact that because she wasn't talking out her feelings, it's kind of like there was anticipation. Every single time I was anticipating what was she going to do next. And I wasn't guessing. Like, because when I started to guess, I was wrong. So I was just waiting and see, like, okay, so how's she gonna handle this one? And every single time, like, it was awesome. Like you said, action packed from beginning to end, intrigue from beginning to end. Like, I really, really enjoyed this series.
Yeah. I co-sign on everything you just said. And one of the things I loved, and you know me, uh, I love female leads in what tend to be male dominated roles. I love when we get our space. And just like in American and Western TV shows, it's few and far between that you will see this type of lead um, in a Korean drama. Like you said, she wasn't that one where she was overly sensitive and she didn't try to talk out her feelings. She was kick ass, take names. You got in her way, you were getting bulldozed, you know. And so that just the way they wrote this character was so like they didn't try. And I love the fact that they didn't try to soften her up. And she was unapologetic for who she was, you know, from beginning to end when she was being bullied in school because you know she was poor and her father was the perceived junkie or criminal or whatever, to her having to work her way and fight her way up through the police ranks and her being the type of detective who wanted to be the first one through the door, her going into places and investigating cases that she quote unquote as a woman had no business investigating. It's like, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to be the most popular or girly or the most liked. I'm not here to be objectified and sexualized by you. I have a job to do, even though that job was twofold, but she was doing it. And I love that. And I love seeing characters like that, especially female characters where we can come in and we can kick ass and they're not trying to um, they're just letting us be because like I say all the time, women, we come in all shapes, sizes, everything. And it's just like there's no one idea of what feminine or female is or woman is. So I love that and I appreciate that. So that was my rant on the whole feminist aspect of this of it. But yeah, and I love that she kicked ass from the very beginning. What did you think about like when she was living in? Are we gonna call it a dojo? What was it? Or is it like a
It was a
karate do?
dojo.
Is a dojo when she was living in the dojo and like that was like one of the first times I was surprised because I thought that whole scene, I thought the relationship that she was building with the guys, I thought it was going to be different. Like I thought, okay, they're first going to start off giving her a hard time, but she's going to become one of the guys. And very quickly you find out, oh, fuck, that's not what's going to happen at all.
Well, that's what made me love it even more because very, very realistic in the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we see show. So okay, so here's a perfect example of that that fancy how do I say Disney bubblegum kind of concept, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye with Echo, right? So Echo is chosen over the guy who's been with the organization longer to run the organization, run the tracksuit gang,
Mm-hmm.
right? Only woman in control of all these dudes, and they're just okay with it. And I didn't. That's not realistic. I thought it was very, very realistic. On they never accepted her. They never like really reached out to her. Like it was kind of like even if they were nice to her, they still had one eye open. Like I'm nice to you as long as you don't take my spot. Because the minute that she took that dude's spot, he changed on her.
Mm-hmm.
Like he flipped on her real quick, really nice, up until she took his spot, and then he flipped. That was very, very realistic. That was a very, very realistic situation that she was in. What surprised me even more, and is that she was not surprised me. She was very naive as well, right? She went to Mujin when she was a teenage girl. So she went to him when she was a teenage girl, which means that, and she was grieving from her father, And so she didn't have she wasn't mature enough to really understand or make the decision that she ultimately made in order for him to train her to kill her father's killer, right? Or to murder her father's killer, whoever murdered her father. So he put her in the dojo knowing that she was going to get raped. But he put her there for a reason. He set her up.
Okay, so without giving it away at this point, this early in the show, you know the spoilers are coming. Y'all know how we do things, but I kind of want to build up to that. Do you think excuse me, do you think it was a test to see that if she could survive, if she was strong enough to do what he wanted her to do, to become his undercover mole in the
Yes.
police, or was it to support his end game and to save him the trouble?
No, it was to see if he had what it took to handle it.
To see.
To infiltrate the police force means that she had to be able to handle the dudes that were in the dojo, because the police force, it was just as sexist, right? Mm-hmm. So she had to have the strength in order to handle that, all of that. And so that's the reason why I believe he put her there, to test her and see if if she didn't survive it, then he'd be like, oh, well, okay, well, end results still happen. It may have been a little bit early, but I'm good. I'll just get somebody else. But instead she survived, which gave him more respect for her after she survived that encounter.
Yeah. Because like I said, and I guess in the sense of, even, and I don't want to just keep saying in the sense of a Korean drama, because this was gritty, especially for it to have a female lead. And I would say that even if it were a Western drama, you rarely ever see, again, going back to that, females get the opportunity, or women get the opportunity to play such a gritty character from beginning to end, because the rough edges, they stayed. Like, usually you'll see them get polished off or polished down or whittled down, or the end game or the goal changes, but you didn't see that with her. And I agree. And it was a little bit naive of her to go, but again, she had nowhere else to go, because that was pretty much the life that she knew. That was all that she knew. And you want to say that she had her father, she grieved her death, she loved him, but it was more or less her grieving the father that he should have been, the father that she wanted him to be, not necessarily the father that he loves, because from the father that he was, because from what we saw, their brief interactions, he was a shit father. And we found out the reasons why for that later, but he was a shit father. So yeah, it was, I liked it. What did you think about, and I love the fact that you never really knew who to trust. Like, we really got a glimpse of the world from her eyes. It was like it was kind of like almost virtual reality. Like, we were that character, because they did such a good job of showing us everything from her perspective. It was like you never knew who to trust. Never. Did you get that? Or
No, I agree.
right. So beginning with her relationship, one of the things I liked was her relationship with Pildo, who you told me he was cute, and I did not know. I was like, he's familiar, but I didn't know where I had seen him before. And he played the bad guy, or one of the bad guys in Itaewon Class, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He was the son to the villain in Itaewon
Class. Yeah. The spoiled kid who got a lot of the shit started, the bully in Itaewon Class. So I was like, okay, that's who he is. So when we talked about it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I loved how we actually got to see their relationship grow. Their friendship, them being cagey around each other, not being sure whether or not they could trust the other. And just how it grew, how that friendship grew, and the slow burn of it all. It didn't bother me. It wasn't like this whole drag because you. I honestly wasn't prepared. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to end up where it ended up. What about you?
Um, I mean, the end result of what they ultimately became, probably not going that far, but to grow as, because I saw the development of him working towards her trusting him while still suspecting that there was more to her than what she presented to them.
I agree with that. I saw that. I saw the partnership coming, and that was one of the things that I liked was that slow, that fine line. Like he knew, he knew there was more there, and the more he peeled back the layers on that onion, he was sure that she wasn't, that she was into something. I don't know if he suspected it to be exactly what it was, but he made, I think you see the point where he makes up the decision that he was going to have her back. So I saw the partnership. I did expect that, but I didn't see them actually. And I guess maybe because Korean dramas have trained me to not really go there, um, I did not see them becoming lovers, I guess.
Yeah, I will agree. I didn't see them going that far. Um, was I like, but I was okay with it. I definitely
I
was,
was,
because the drama, My Name is so good that it was the character development. So it wasn't like it was thrown at us. It wasn't thrown at the audience. You saw the build up to that. So when it finally happened, I was just like, "Oh, that makes sense.
it makes sense.
Like,
Like
like,
it was,
like I like it. Like it's good. It's good. It makes sense."
yeah, it was a natural progression because
Yes.
it wasn't, it made sense. And just from the way their relationship started, like I said, from the beginning, like him being annoyed and highly suspicious, her busting in on his case, and then her being thrown in on his team, and him like, look, I'm still the head, and I don't trust you, and I don't like you, and I don't know what you're doing here, to them becoming friends, friendly-ish, to them actually becoming partners, to them almost being crushed in a car together in a junkyard. So you do see that natural progression, especially like when they were talking that night when it snowed, and they were kind of talking about their past a little bit, and her living in a house with absolutely no furniture.
None whatsoever.
um, so I did like that. Like I loved, and I loved the character of Tildo. I thought he was really cool, and I liked him. And I'm actually glad because at some points you kind of suspect him, and I'm glad he didn't turn out to be a bad cop. I am. I can say that. I'm glad he didn't turn out to be a bad cop. Um. So what did you think about? Did you have any other characters that you liked?
I mean, I liked the villain.
Hmm.
Moo, phenomenal actor. He was the breakout star. Besides, I think her name is Han So-e.
Hmm.
Yeah, besides Han So-e, which is she's a rising star. She has multiple projects that are coming out this year. Besides her, I really really loved. Well, I love the three main characters. So we talked about the first two. Um, but besides them, no. Like my focus. That's another thing, y'all. My name, like your focus is on these three characters and how the relationships between them change and develop over time. Over the 8 episodes, they change, they develop, switching sides, switching back, switching again, like all the intrigue, like it just was really, really good throughout the series.
Yeah, it was excellent. Okay, so Mujin, he starts off as her confidant, as the surrogate father she never had. Um, he leads her to believe, which she knew from a sense, is that her father was his right hand, his best friend. But that was one thing I questioned. I'm like, okay, if you're this kick-ass crime boss and her father is your best friend, your best friend and your right hand, why were they living in the fucking slums?
To be honest, I don't know.
I mean, that was just a question that I had. So that
But
to
then we
me is,
also have to think the top boss is living good, but that don't say nothing about the people below him. No
I
matter
know,
how
but
much of how close you are to them.
yeah, but I mean, and I guess, I don't know. I have to do more research on my Asian gangsters. But I was just like, because here usually your right hand, your second in command, they're pretty well off, like you are. So I was just like, okay, that one to me was like, but it seemed normal. But plus, also, didn't they say like her father had gained a reputation for being like a degenerate, an alcoholic, and a gambler or something like that? Like that was, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe that was what was doing it. But come to find out, and so he had convinced her that the police had killed her father. That's why, mainly that police captain who ultimately ends up as her boss, um, had killed her father, and that the police were responsible for it. Dirty cops had killed him, which makes sense because he just had a run in with the cops. Um, I thought that cop, the same cop that had from the beginning, who was harassing her and both her and her father, I thought he was going to turn out to be dirty or dirtier than what he was. I thought he was going to have a bigger part. So that like shocked the shit out of me. Like everything I thought I knew, when I thought I knew it, I was like, I knew nothing.
Blew
Nothing.
the whole world apart.
Blew it apart. And then when you do suspect Mujin, something happens to you like, damn it, it's not him. But it is him, but it's not him. And then when you finally realize, oh shit, like he was, I think he was one of the best villains. I thought the dude from Vincenzo, that's the one thing I can say. K dramas have some awesome villains. Like you love and respect the way they write their villains. Like the dude in Itaewon Class was a villain all into himself. The dude from Vincenzo was a villain all into himself. You know, this dude, he takes it to a whole nother level. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a psychotic sociopath quite as, how would you characterize him? Like, he was a sick son of a bitch, but
He was a smart gangster.
yeah,
I
that's
think he was a smart gangster. I I do not have as black of a view of his villainy, whatever, of his villain ways. I don't, because I think Taki villain in Vincenzo was a true psychopath. He was cray cray. He killed everybody around him, and then died a horrible death. But what I will say is that he was an awesome gangster and very, very smart.
yeah. I think okay.
Manipulative. He was very, very good at manipulating situations.
I agree with that. And I think, to me, where the sociopathy comes in is that the way he groomed her, the way he took care of her. And I know that sounds kind of sexual, but it's not. The way he became like a surrogate father to her. And as much as she trusted anyone, she trusted him. And come to find out that he is the one who killed her father, who lied to her face, um, set her on a path to destroy his enemies. I think that was very smart. And I can't say that I completely disagree with that. But the way, um, once his end game, once it was discovered, once she realized he was the one that she had been hunting, and Pildo had talked her out for ultimate revenge, because we know she was quite capable of it, because um the way she took out homeboy who tried to rape her in the dojo, when she had the chance, at first it was like, oh, she's not going to do it. She's just going to let the law handle it. And then he said, or he did something and he flinched and she was just like, fuck it. She had it in her because that's how she had been raised. That's what he taught her to do. But when it was like, it was like he was the one who had been betrayed. Like she was the one who had betrayed him and lied to him. And to me, that's where the whole sociopathy comes in. It's just like, how dare you quit playing my game? How dare you try to do this on your terms? Like I set the rules to this. And how he forced her to come after him. To me, that's where the whole sociopathy comes in. Like even a bit of psychopathy. That was just like, that was crazy.
She didn't go when he told her to.
Huh?
She didn't go when he told her to.
But it was like, dude, she didn't have to anymore. It was like she had made the decision. I have been his Pinocchio long enough. I'm done letting this dude pull my strings. We're going to bring him down the right way. Like she was willing to risk it all, even the truth coming out about her being a quote unquote dirty cop, all of that. They were going to get him. And it was like, even his lawyer told him to run. Like, dude, let it go. And it was just like, no, like, how dare she? And I was just like, what? Like, he was the one who acted like she killed his father, and like the situation had been reversed all this time. So I was just like, yeah, like you cray. Like he wasn't quite tacky cray, but they were on the same spectrum.
I feel that he trained her to be a certain way and she went against her training. Because he trained her to go after her enemies and take your enemies out. And I think that when Pildo persuaded her not to is when she deviated, because she did everything else that he expected her to do. She stole the evidence. She threw it away. Everything else that he manipulated her, and that he expected her to do, that he trained her to do, she did it. Even after she found out what he did, she did it. She had her plan already set. And the plan, he knew. Like, he knew, you're going to come after me because now you know the truth. So when she deviated from her training is when he was just like, oh no, I trained you better than this. I told you how to go after your enemies, and you're not going to do it? So you going to act like I ain't trained you right? Like, that's how I felt like his attitude was on the reason why he was so pissed off at the fact that she didn't come after him the way that he expected her to come after him, the way that he trained her to. And that's the reason why he ultimately killed Pildo. Because he was like, okay, so you're going to go against your training. You're not going to do what you're supposed to do, what I trained you to do. So I'm going to force you into it now.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
And to him, but that's the whole thing. It was like, it was a game. Because if he really wanted her dead, he could have had them take her out, because that was the perfect drive-by. Like, that was the perfect wick shot. And I had to rewind that several times. And I was like, no, not Pildo, because my girl deserved her happily ever after. She deserved a happy ending, because I was just like, and you knew it was coming, but I was like, no, please let this be the one time that I'm wrong, And I was just like, golly. And whenever someone dies like that, you've got me in the habit of saying wick shot or wickham. So I was like, damn, he got wicked, because John Wick.
Yeah, he definitely got wicked.
John Wick is the king of headshots. But so I was just like, no, but it's just like he wanted to play the game on his terms, and it's like, how dare she not want to be the little mouse in my cat and mouse game anymore? And so it was just like, how dare you not come after me? It's like, how dare you not make us do this? How dare you make me try to kill you in a different way? Because he just knew that he was going to be the last one standing. And so I was just like, that's a sick son of a bitch. Like that, he was masterful. Like I said, not quite tacky level, but they fell from the same tree, you know. And he is an amazing villain, and he is a damn good actor, and I loved him as Mugen. And you felt when he was fatherly to her, when he was being a friend to her, and then you saw the change of when it's like it was almost like he became a different person, and he looked a little different when the mask came off.
Mhm.
Like when he didn't have to pretend anymore, it was
He
just
turned
like,
it too evil.
yeah, it was just like, oh, okay. And you even start to see him a little different. Like you never pictured him because of what he did for a living. You knew he was never just the good guy. But part of you, like, at least for me, I found myself hoping that he was telling the truth. Like that. And for a while, you truly believed that it was that the police, that there was a deeper conspiracy within the police that took her father out, until you found out that her father was just deep undercover, the whole time, and trying to bring him down. And he was getting close to doing that, when he was discovered, and he ended up killing him himself. He didn't send anyone else to do it. And you felt that betrayal, because for he did think of him as his friend, I guess, his second. They were really good friends until that happened. So I kind of wish we would have gotten to see a little bit more of her and the police chief together. I guess maybe a little bit more about her father, but I don't know. It seemed like she was even dragged into her father's undercover case, because that explains so much about their relationship, like where they lived, why their relationship was the way it was. So this dude, like, literally destroyed her life from beginning to end and took everything away from her. So he had to die. Um, did you have a favorite episode?
Mm-mm.
Just the whole thing?
Yeah, like from beginning to end.
I
Like
mean,
it was that. Like I don't have a favorite episode, or there are different scenes, but I don't want to. I don't want to point out like a favorite. Like this is what you need to look for. I am going to say watch the whole thing.
yes.
You will enjoy it from beginning to end. Like I enjoyed it from beginning to end. It kept me focused. It kept me entertained from beginning to end. It made me a fan um, of the actress and the actors. Made me a fan of theirs. Where I looked at what other works do they have coming out. What have they acted in before? So it's just phenomenal on all ends. Now it's not, once again, it ain't 100. It's not 100. That's not what I'm saying. But it's good enough.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart. It's probably one of the darker shows. Like Vincenzo had moments of levity. Um, you could call Vincenzo maybe a dark comedy.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what they call it. That's actually what they call it.
yeah. Like there were moments where you found yourself laughing out loud, because it was meant to be funny. It was meant to have those moments of levity. Itaewon Class was, I guess, a romantic dramedy. Again,
No romance.
it was.
Itaewon class. Itaewon class was
It did
sad.
have moments of romance.
It was that don't mean not now the guy start thinking about calling it a romance.
I called it
It
a
was
romantic
sad.
dramedy. It
It
was,
was
but
it was a dramedy. No, not even a dramedy. It was a drama. Like Itaewon
yeah,
Class was a drama that will pull at your heartstrings, but it wasn't though. It's never, if you watch it or if you have watched it, you'll know the romance doesn't pull you in at all. The romance is not the romance is at the bottom of the list. It is the drama and the dynamics of the main character along with the villain that carries that whole entire thing. That's why I'm like, it's not a romance, but I get what you're trying to say though.
So ultimately, this is one of the darker shows that we review. So it's not a faint heart. It's really dark. It is, and I love it. I'm here for it. I have an inner darkness in me. You see my dark side. Stop rolling your eyes and laughing at me.
I keep telling you, I'm letting you be great.
Thank you. Yeah, but so how many times have you watched it? I guess that's the question I should ask.
Twice.
Twice? Okay, cool.
Well, granted, it came out and then I had a whole bunch of other stuff I had to watch. So, but twice.
Yeah. So this is the show, My Name, that we've been talking about for the last few months because we talked about it. We mentioned it in our year-end episodes, and I think mentioned it in some other episodes. And finally, we got to review it because I think by the time we watched it, or it was on Netflix, it was towards the end of the year, at least for me. So we already had our schedule fixed, but definitely that does not matter. You should watch it. You got any closing thoughts on it before we rate it?
Mm-mm.
All right. What are you rating it? How many popcorns are you giving My Name? Say my name. Say my bad.
I'm gonna give Say My Name on Netflix. I'm not singing for y'all. I'm not Eddie. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'm gonna save your ears. I will give My Name, currently streaming on Netflix, a 4.25. Really, really loved it. Enjoyed it. Like I said, from beginning to end, it was just really, really good. So I'm gonna give it a high rating and hope that it was actually very, very popular. It was very popular when it premiered on Netflix. There was a huge popularity for it. But I'm just going to say that if you haven't watched it already, please go and watch it. Even with the spoilers, you will be entertained.
You will be. I forgot to ask. It was very popular before your rating. Do you think it should get a second season?
No.
Yeah. This is one of the ones where I felt like they wrapped it up, and it would be really hard to replicate another season with such intensity. Um, Although I'm sure they could do it, but if it doesn't get a second season, I would be okay. I'm good with where it ended. If it does get a second season, I would definitely watch it. But yeah, it was like perfect from beginning to end. And I actually agree with you on the rating. I gave it a 4. Um, I loved it from beginning to end. Like I said, I wanted more. I found myself wanting a few more episodes, but those 8 episodes are action packed from beginning to end. Recommended it to just about everyone I've talked to, especially as more and more friends are getting into K dramas. I'm like, then you've got to watch My Name. It's up there with my Vincenzo and Itaewon Class. Those are my top 3 that they would have access to because I think True Beauty is still just on big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 3 that I know that they would probably have access to, I'm like, those are the 3. You've got to watch them, especially now that they're starting to get dubbed. I don't know if Itaewon Class has been dubbed, but I know Vincenzo has. So yes, definitely watch it. Okay. Well, that does it for this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down, where we review Say My Name, Say My Name. I just need another reason to sing it. Sorry. Thank you for letting me be great. Stop rolling your eyes at me through the computer. I feel that. I feel that shit. It cuts me deep. But anyway.
It's okay. It's okay. You'll move on. You'll move on.
Please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and or Spotify Podcasts. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness at the soon-to-be new and improved popcornwinddown.com. The update is coming along quite swimmingly, if I do say so myself. Hopefully, I'll have it done by my deadline. We'll see. That's it. That's the plug. Pop, 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 pop. Tammy is working on her deadline to get me my sound effects.
Which is Infinity.
War. You know what happens? Infinity War leads to Endgame. You don't want me to Thanos you, do you?
Okay. Thanos died in the end, but yeah, sure.
I'm just going to snap my fingers and send you to the unknown place until I get my sound effects, damn it.
Okay. I love you 3000.
Oh, you melt my heart. I purple you.
Let's end this.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to do. But I do purple you. Thank you. Okay, we'll stop. Thank you.
Sorry.
We're being unprofessional. Okay, and scene. Thank you as always, and be sure to join us next week when we discuss I'm so excited. Seasons 1 and 2 of The Witcher. Finally watched it. Cannot
You
wait.
did?
Yes, cannot wait to discuss it.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm so excited to hear what you have to say. Go ahead.
Okay. Until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.